Today we're honoring a local historian who recently passed away. Cathy Nelson spent decades educating people all over Ohio about the Underground Railroad and its importance in history. The Kelton House in Columbus was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad, and architectural historian Jeff Darbee took a tour with Cathy to find out more.
We're downtown on East Town Street, a historic district with very good architecture. Town Street in the early days, this is the 1840s, 1850s, was just developing as one of the first suburban areas for people who wanted to move out of the center city. Now, it wasn't a very big city at the time, but it became a sort of suburban enclave within a mile of Broad and High. We're going to visit one of the earliest houses on the street, the Kelton House, which has been preserved as a house museum. And I think we're going to have a pretty interesting visit. Hi, Cathy.
Hi, Jeff.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Welcome to the Kelton House.
Thank you very much. So this is one of the most historic houses in Columbus, isn't it?
It is, absolutely.
Tell me the story. When it was built, who built it, who are the Keltons?
Well, it was built in 1852 by Fernando Kelton and his wife Sophia.
Fernando, that's an unusual name.
Isn't it an unusual name? He's from Vermont and she was from Massachusetts. The original house was somewhere near downtown by the Greyhound bus station, and I think Sophia was just tired of living in downtown Columbus. It was noisy and dirty.
The dense city of the 1850s.
Yes, and she wanted to move out to the country, so this was the country.
So maybe a mile east of Capitol Square was still countryside.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
this
later,
was the last house on, sort of on the block.
And it was just wild country beyond
Just
that.
wild country and animals.
Well, things do change, don't
Yes,
they?
they do.
Well, it's a wonderful place.
It is.
Tell me the story of the house. Now, the Kelton family held it until, what, in the 1970s?
Oh, yeah, until the very last Kelton lived here, which was Grace Kelton. She died in 1975.
And she was a granddaughter of the builder?
She was the granddaughter.
Okay, because she was fairly elderly when she passed away.
Yes, she was.
I think in her 90s?
Yes, well in her 90s.
And,
yes.
but the house got preserved.
Yes, she actually made a stipulation in her will that if they could not save this house, that she wanted it torn down and given the land to be a part to the, to the city.
So it could have been torn down, but the Junior League of Columbus stepped forward, is that right? And has the house now and has opened it, well, it's been 40 plus years.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a house museum all that time.
Absolutely, and the Junior League raised $1 million to restore the house and open it up as a house museum.
But it has all the original furnishings, I understand.
It does.
Is that correct?
It does. Grace was in interior design, and so a lot of the furniture here was her, ancestors' furniture, as well as hers. She traveled all over the world. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So it's wonderful to have this beautiful house and have so many original artifacts in it.
Well, let's take a further look. I'd love to see
All right,
more
let's
of
do
the
that.
house. So the house has two parlors. That's pretty formal. A house of that period.
It is. It is.
So there's a front parlor that we were just in and a back parlor.
Yeah, and this back parlor would have been considered like what we call our family room today, because the children would have been here, girls would have been engaged in cross-stitching or crocheting, and the boys would have played with games or had a little chess game. And the front parlor would have been used for more formal things.
Special events.
Absolutely.
What sort of events?
Well, one of the events here was a wedding, and it was the wedding of Martha.
Oh, was that one of the daughters of the Keltons?
No, Martha was an African American. She was an escaped slave girl.
Well, there must be a story there.
There is definitely a story to that.
There's more to tell on that, isn't there?
Yes, more to tell.
Okay.
Let's go see.
Let's see. Historic photos.
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
Well, there are Kelton family members in here. This is Sophia. But the person I would like to talk to you about is Martha Hartway. Martha Hartway was 10 years old when she was found hiding outside of the Kelton house and found by Sophia. And Martha was 10 years old, and her sister, Pearl, was 13 years old. Pearl did not stay, but Martha was very young and very frail. And so the Keltons took her in and raised her here with their children.
So they had come from somewhere farther south.
They had come from Powhatan County, Virginia. That's near the Richmond area.
Right.
And the story is a pretty sad one. Their mother had told them that they would no longer be able to stay with her. They were all enslaved, and that the girls would have to move to the big house. And somehow that mother made passage for those girls to come here. And I'm not sure if they ever saw their mother again.
So that's Martha.
That's Martha.
In later years.
In later
And
years.
her husband Thomas above.
And Thomas was a free black man of color from Cadiz, Ohio. And he and his parents moved to Franklin County. And then he finally made his way to the Kelton House when he was looking for work. And he was a very skilled carpenter. And a lot of the things that you see here in this house in terms of woodwork are things that that was his handiwork. And it is thought that the two of them lived here with the Kelton family for some time until Thomas was able to find a job that made enough money where he could, purchase his own home.
So she was treated as though she were a daughter. She wasn't,
treated,
but she was treated as though she were.
And she would probably do some domestic work, I would think, most likely because the Kelton family was very interested in high education. I'm sure that they taught her how to read and how to write. But they lived a long life, and she lived her whole life after, escaping here as a free woman. And, as we commemorate 400 years of the transatlantic slave trade, there's something else I would like for you to see downstairs in the basement.
I'm always ready to see something else.
All right, I think you're going to enjoy this.
Lead the way.
All right.
Oh, the basement. Basements are always interesting. I love basements.
Yes, a lot of secrets in the basement.
Well, Columbus is so lucky to have a place like this. It tells you so much about life at the time, about a prominent family and how they lived their lives, but also an unusual story of taking in an African-American young girl and giving her a future. I mean, it's such a great story.
At a time, it was illegal to do that.
Yeah, legally illegal. Oh, behind the wood door.
Yes.
Oh, look at this. Oh, what a fascinating space.
It is. This is our Underground Railroad learning station.
So we're in the basement.
We are.
This is set up now. This is not where Martha would have been. She was in the house.
No, when they found her hiding outside, Sophia brought her in. So this was not a place where they kept her.
But this is set up to represent what might have been a typical hiding place for escaped slaves.
Yes,
somewhere in Ohio. Could have been anywhere.
It could have been, there were all sorts of hiding places, and down on the lower level, or root cellar or whatever of a house could have most likely been used.
Now, I'm right, aren't I, that these are mostly pre-existing spaces, they're found spaces. People didn't build hiding rooms particularly during that period.
No, not at all.
They found spaces they already had.
They already had, and there's that story of the tunnels.
Yeah.
There were small tunnels depending on where they were, but those were typically used for other reasons, to bring in goods and whatnot.
So another type of found space, but not built for the purpose
absolutely
of
not.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. So there's some mythology.
Yes,
that
there's
goes
quite
on.
a bit of mythology.
Yeah,
in that.
well, and places like this help get rid of the mythology and really tell the true story.
Yes, it
you have,
does.
for example, the panels here in this room that tell a very compelling story.
Yes.
From a worldwide, national, Ohio, and then Kelton perspective.
Right, we go from the national story, we go from the transatlantic slave trade to we talk about some of the well-known heroes and heroines of the Underground Railroad, to Ohio's role in the Underground Railroad,
Which
and
was
now
major.
which
Ohio
was
played a
major.
major role.
Absolutely, it was major. And then we come here to the Kelton House, to an actual station in Columbus, Ohio.
Now, do you do teaching here with? You're retired from teaching in the Columbus schools, but do you come here with groups and still do the interpretation?
Yes, and when I was teaching, I would bring my students here, and there are thousands of school kids that come here every year to understand the history of the Underground Railroad, to learn Ohio's role and how important it was in the Underground Railroad, and to hear this story of this young 10-year-old girl who is taken in by this family and who's raised here and has a good life and tastes her first, years of freedom.
Well, it is. It's a compelling story. It's a true story. It's well documented. And you've done such a good part in telling us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For this visit.
Thank you for coming.
Well, happy to be here. I've known about the Kelton House, but getting this in-depth tour has been really wonderful.
Well, I appreciate you coming. Pass
Thanks.
the word.
Cathy Nelson was not only interested in the places connected with the Underground Railroad, she also called attention to people who helped forge a path to freedom and equality. In this next story, a whole group of historians gathered to share about notable women in Columbus's history, and Cathy offered a story about one woman who left an incredible legacy.
The person that, in my opinion, made the greatest impact in Ohio and across the country is a woman by the name of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She was born in 1825 in Baltimore, Maryland. She was a person of color. Her parents are free, so she's born free. Unfortunately, her parents pass away, and so at age 3, her uncle, William, and her aunt Harrietta take her in. He has a school, he's built a school, and he's teaching free colored children how to read and write. And so Frances is one of his students. As she gets older, at around age 13, she works in a very well-to-do white family home as a domestic, and they have a huge library. And she is allowed to read just about everything that they have. She loves to write, and she has published her first book of poetry by the time she's 20. She comes to Ohio, and she's teaching at the Union Seminary, and she's teaching sewing and embroidery. She's writing, she's starting to lecture about all sorts of causes, the plight of slaves.
Remember slavery's cruel hands make heathens at your doors.
And so she goes on the public circuit. She travels in the South, she travels all through the East Coast, she travels in New England, and then she winds up again in Ohio. In 1858, she is speaking to the Colored Men's Association. I think this is where she finally meets her husband-to-be. His name was Kelton Harper. He's a widower, and he has 3 children. And so for her to leave her speaking engagements and her writing, she's publishing books, she turns a lot of money over to all of these benevolent causes. But she gets married, and she helps her husband buy a farm outside of Columbus near Grove City. She's taking care of his 3 children, and they have a child of their own, Mary. But she's not married long because 4 years later he passes away. Shortly afterwards, 5 months later or so, she's back on the speaking circuit again, still giving money to the anti-slavery societies. She is campaigning about temperance. She's speaking now at conventions about education. You know, the war's over. They're even traveling back to the South, talking to slaves that have now gotten their freedom, but still are living there in shacks. And she really talks to the women, and she has private meetings with these women on how to elevate themselves. I find it extraordinary in 1871 that she's going to the South, you know, when we know that the Klan has started to rise, you know, and no one ever bothers her.
She sounds fearless.
She is fearless.
She probably projected that.
She died on February the 20th, 1911.
Oh, she lived a long time.
She lived a long time. She lived to be 85 years old.
Crime has no sex, and yet today I wear the brand of shame.
I think she still has a profound impact, although her name may not be as much a household word, because I think what always impressed me about her was that she really could call it out about men. She wrote a poem about the double standard, and the double standard has to be the most eye-opening poem you've ever read. How men had defined the sphere for women, and that what was the difference between a woman who had fallen and a young man who had caused the fall.
Women not being raised and elevated to the level of men, that would trouble her. And she was just so adamant about trying to make a difference in all these lives.
Along with being a historian, Cathy Nelson was also a preservationist. In recent years, she played a major role in efforts to have the canal locks in Groveport and Lockbourne recognized as historical sites because they were important to the Ohio-Erie canal system. Not long ago, architectural historian Jeff Darbee joined Cathy on a visit to what remains of those canals.
We're on a journey today. We're not going to travel on a canal, but we're going to go learn about the Ohio-Erie Canal. So we're going to visit part of the Ohio-Erie Canal here in Groveport, known as Lock 22. A canal lock was a stone structure intended to enable canal boats to make a change in elevation. Ohio, contrary to what a lot of people think, is a hilly state. It's not a flat state. And the canal had to overcome something like 150 different points between Cleveland and Portsmouth, where it had to go up or down a hill. And the only way to do it is to have an enclosed chamber with doors on it where you could fill it with water and then put a boat in it, close the doors, drain the water out to lower the boat to another level, or reverse the process to take it to a higher level. So we're going to visit lock number 22 on the portion of the Ohio-Erie Canal that's known as the Southern Descent. It started in Newark at a higher level and descended through a series of locks all the way down to the Ohio River at Portsmouth. And the city of Groveport has taken on the preservation of Lock 22 as an important part of its historic character and its historic story that the community tells, because it had so much to do with the founding of Groveport itself. Hi, Rick. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Nice to see you, too.
How are you? Hi, Rick. Good to see you here at Lock 22.
Lock 22 in Groveport.
Look at all that stonework.
Oh, yeah.
So we're at the upper end of the lock, where it would have been the upstream end.
This is the east end.
Mm-hmm. And
Canal Winchester is that way.
Okay, and then this is where you'd lower the boats if they're headed down toward Portsmouth.
Correct.
Okay. Well, let's take a walk through the lock since we can, and talk about it a little more.
Okay.
Now, these were built on wood foundations. Is that right?
Correct. The wood floor is still in this lock. I dug around one day and rediscovered it, and it's still there. The wood floor, as long as you keep it wet, will stay preserved and still hold its function.
Which is why the city used the gravel here, so when it rains it goes through down and keeps the
Right.
floor wet but doesn't let it evaporate.
It works like a cereal bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when you pour the milk on cereal, the water goes through and gets down below and keeps everything wet. And then the boards go up underneath the
Okay.
walls and
Well, I'm
holds
sure
everything in
people
place.
look at these big stones and can't imagine that it's built on a wood foundation, but that was the technology at the time.
Correct.
And you know, it's been what, almost 200 years that
Yes.
this wood has been in place.
And it's still doing its job.
Doing its job because the walls are straight.
Right.
If the wood fails, and then you can see some of the mason's marks here on the walls where
Yes.
they finish the surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have little margins at the edge. It really is, in ways, it's a work of art.
Yeah.
It really is. So we're here down by the floor, so the boat's getting lowered in the lock, but the bottom of the boat might be somewhere like here, a little bit above the floor.
Correct.
So it probably was a 6 or 8 foot drop or a rise if you're going the other direction.
At least.
And then the wood, you don't see them anymore because wood exposed the way the gates were will rot away. But those pockets is where you would see the
Yeah,
gates.
you can
is
still
that
see
right?
the notches where the gates were on both ends.
And they were essentially watertight.
Right.
But had
With wickets at the bottom and
okay,
with
so
water in and out.
so you'd open those and the water would go in or out, either flow down from above, or you'd leave it lowered, bring the boat in, open it up at the other end, let the boat float up.
Correct.
And that's how the lock worked.
That's exactly how it works.
Well, Kathy, you've been involved a long time now, and I know in Underground Railroad history. You're
Yes.
sort of the queen of Underground Railroad history here in Ohio. But tell me about what happened with canals. What got you into canals?
Well, what got me interested in canals was simply a friend of mine and we took a bus tour from Fairfield County to Sauter County, and we were looking at canal features. And the first time I saw a lock was the one in Fairfield County. And really I had no idea what it was for or how it was used. It was just a bunch of rocks, to me, but they were just quite fascinating. But the more we looked at locks and the more I started reading the markers, like there's a marker, for lock 22, I started to realize what an expansive operation this had to be. I mean, just the sheer engineering feat of building the canal. I was just awestruck by the history of it. But as I started to see each of these locks, I felt that they needed to be preserved. You know, some of them are in very good condition, such as Groveport's lock is wonderful.
It is. It's
There
one
are
of the
others
best.
that, you know, need a lot of work. You know, there may be trees growing through a side or lock stones missing.
So that led to your calling these communities together, Groveport and some of the other communities, on what we're calling what was called the Southern Descent. We're calling it that too.
Yes.
It's now a historic district,
Yes.
listed in the National Register of Historic Places. I think there are 14 canal features that are now listed and recognized as being important
Yes.
in the history of the state, history of transportation and economic development of Ohio.
And
And you really got that going.
Well, yeah, I did. Just to see these massive structures now be preserved and have markers that tells the story, so people can understand just what it took to build a canal, how Ohio's canals were so important to the economy at that time.
Right.
I just felt it was important to save these structures because that's all that's left.
Well, Cathy, I know Groveport has made a big commitment here preserving Lock 22, but it's not the only community. I think the next major one down the road is Lockbourne in southern Franklin County.
And I'd like to take you down there and see that. They have 4 locks, a guard lock, and part of the Columbus feeder. And,
Well, boy, that's quite a complex.
That's
well,
quite
I
a
guess
complex.
We
now.
better go get a look.
Yeah, let's go get a look.
All right. Hi, Dave. Hi, Mayor.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Good seeing you. Hi.
So here we are in Lockbourne, famous for the locks, and Lock 30 being one of the better preserved ones.
Right. It's part of the whole system that came from the Licking Summit, which we now call the Buckeye Lake,
Right.
and fed water here all the way to southern descent at Ohio River.
Well, we were in Groveport, and the Lock 22 is there. This is Lock 30, so there were 8 locks between Groveport
Yes,
and here. So
there
there was quite a change in elevation, but I was wondering, the canal never went to Columbus. It was the capital, but
no,
never went to the capital city. What's the reason?
When the canal was laid out in 1822-23, it bypassed Columbus, but in fact it had a feeder, a Columbus feeder that was 11 3/4 miles long from just a few hundred yards down here all the way up along the Scioto River, edge of the Scioto River, into the central part of Columbus.
So it joined here at Lockbourne.
Yes,
so this
it
was a
did.
major junction at one point.
Yes, it was. It was a major junction.
And we're in a public park here. It's owned by the village of Lockbourne.
Yes, it is.
And I understand there's another lock. Number 29 is kind of in the distance.
It's on the other side of the park by Lockbourne Road.
And there's a trail that connects them, is that correct?
Yes, we have collaborated with Metro Parks, Columbus Parks, and Pickaway County Parks.
Oh, great.
And so what we're doing is we're putting a walking trail along the canal path. So you'll be able to go around Lock 29 up to Lock 30 and then across the canal towpath all the way into Pickaway County. And then from that point, Pickaway County wants to take it to Lock 31, which is in Millport, and then
Right.
continue down the canal into Portsmouth eventually.
Well, that goes to what Cathy's been working on, all of these communities coming together to sort of take advantage of these historic features now that they're all officially listed as historic, taking advantage of them for recreation, for getting the history of the canal better known. So Lockbourne is definitely part of that.
And it was very easy because all of the entities were so excited about the history of their law.
Yeah.
And so it was almost like everybody was waiting, you know.
They just needed to get to meet each other.
Right, they just needed to meet each other to see what they all had in common.
Many towns owe their very existence, Groveport being one of them, to the canal
Yeah,
system.
because the canal went through there.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, Jeff, you mentioned economic tourism, and that was one of the features I was thinking about when we were working on the National Register nomination.
Sure,
you know,
right, to
'cause
get recognition, to bring awareness.
Absolutely. You
And-
have economic tourism, cultural tourism, heritage tourism. You know, it's just great heritage about the canal. You know,
And people are interested in this. They want to have those authentic experiences
Absolutely.
and see truly historic places. So yeah, places like Lockbourne are right on the cutting edge of
right.
giving people what they want from a recreational kind of educational standpoint, cultural
It's a
standpoint.
good thing you're building that Magnolia Trail, because that's going to bring people in town.
We already have some folks that come through just to look at the logs, but we think this will bring more people in.
Yeah, that's great.
And it'll be an educational trail as well, so if they want to learn about the history, they can.
So I've learned so much about the southern descent of the Ohio-Erie Canal. There's a northern descent up toward Cleveland. I'll be going there up to Roscoe Village near Coshocton, and I think maybe a canal boat ride. So I think I'll be learning even more about the Ohio-Erie Canal. But thank you so much for what you've given us today, what we've learned about the canal, and good luck with the future.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Enjoy it.
Cathy Nelson was truly a treasure in this community, and she will be deeply missed. Thanks for being with us, and remember, you can catch all of our episodes on columbusneighborhoods.org. Plus, see our stories on the WOSU mobile app, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you back here next week on Columbus Neighborhoods.